Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. So this is episode 3 of editing Global Fusion Art's pictures for them. So why don't we go through some of these and just see what we've got. We've got this gentleman here. Why don't we have a look at some of these and see what... maybe not him in these ones. We've got this dance group. Now this was all shot on my 5D Mark II. At variance of settings. I did use aperture priority, if I remember correctly, for this shoot. For some reason it has kind of mixed everything up again. No idea why Lightroom has done that, but it has. So that's the back of his head. We don't really want the back of his head. That's not very good. Why don't we go with... no, not that one. No, Lightroom. So I'm using a mouse and it's just not a very good mouse, if I'm brutally honest. So let's go with... what one should we go with? I think we'll go with one of him here. Maybe... he does look like as if he's straining for a bit of a poo, really. So maybe not that one. So I think we'll edit this one. We'll go to the light, and I think actually what we'll do is we'll straighten it out a bit because it is a little bit wonky. So we'll just do that. We'll let Lightroom do that. And brighten it up, and we'll drop them highlights because we can bring back some of the background just here. Some of that sky. Not much of it, but some of it. And I think we'll lift the shadows, lift some of them whites. Maybe drop the blacks, because I think if we lift the blacks and we look in the tent just here, you can kind of see some of the noise from the ISO, because remember the 5D Mark II is an older camera, so it's not going to perform as well, but ISO 800, the pictures still look really, really nice. Anyway, going back to editing, I think we'll add in some contrast, because we have kind of taken out a lot of the contrast within this image, so we're adding a lot of contrast back in. We'll go into the colour and we'll kind of maybe cool it down to about there. I think we'll bring out the greens. Oh, I can change. Should we change the colour of his top? I can change the colour of it, so it can go from its original colour of like a naval blue to a green, or it can go purple. Should we change it? No, I think we'll keep it the same. We'll keep it the same. But I think we will definitely brighten up that image more, because it does seem very dark and kind of dingy. But it is in the moment, and that's what I really like about this one. Let's have a look at the next one. What have we got here? This is another one of the same guy, but a wider shot. Obviously, it's of the whole stage. I don't know why I took his picture, because that's just... majority of him is just cut off. Now this is quite nice. I do like this. I think we'll add in some contrast. We'll drop the highlights yet again. We'll go into straighten it out a bit. This still looks a bit wonky to me. I don't know if it's me or if it's... there we go. That looks kind of straight. To be fair, you don't really need to do much to these images, because the Canon 5D Mark II is still Kind of a really nice camera. We'll drop the shadows, have a look at the whites. Drop the whites. Lift some of the blacks, lift the exposure. You see, like, you don't really need to do much. I'm going to go into cropping again, and I'm just going to crop it down a little bit more. And there we go. It's done, basically. So let's go on to the next image that we need to look for, because I've not gone through really any of these, like, whatsoever. So what can we get from here? Let's actually go back to this guy here. And I think we will do one of these ultra wide kind of shots, although maybe not this one because there's a bubble in the way. There we go. I think what we'll do is we'll crop into this one. So we'll just crop in, ooh, too far. And we'll line that up so it's just him and then that little piece of guitar there. And again, you know, you've got all this amount of play. You know, I could really crop into about there and it still looks kind of okay. Maybe I could crop into a maximum about there. I'm not going to crop into there. I'm going to crop into about here and I'm going to move it over so that he's in center frame. If you can actually see the squares kind of all line up perfectly. I'm going to push done. And then we're going to add in some yellows and we're going to go into the color mix. And then we're going to add... Ooh, too far. Actually, this is what I'm talking about. So actually, before we finish editing, look, you can see we've got an ISO of 800. But if we look at this symbol just here, you can see there's quite a bit of kind of grain and noise there. So, yeah, and that's just because of the older age of the sensor, really. But that's fine. It still works perfectly. And it's one of the reasons why I still use the 5D Mark II for my work. But I think I will have to, you know, upgrade soon to a newer camera. I keep meaning to, but I never actually fully get round to, you know, even looking at one. But there is quite a bit of noise at the hat and in between the tent and the hat, sorry. So I think, well, I can see it anyway. So we will bring in some noise reduction. Not much, because otherwise it will just smooth everything out and it will look horrible. Because if I bring in too much noise reduction, it just looks horrible and just, yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. So if we bring that down to around there, maybe a little bit less. And then we're adding some color noise reduction, but just a little bit, just like that. And that should look pretty damn good. Right, so moving on to the next image. I think we'll go with one of them, if I can find some of her images. Now we've got actually some of this dragon, and I actually wanted to do some of these dragon ones. So I think we will do the dragon next. So we're going to drop the highlights because I want to bring back that sky over here. Because there's quite a bit of detail left in that sky that I can just pull back. I'm going to lift the shadows. Lift, oh no, not going to lift the whites too hard. Lift the blacks. I think we're adding some contrast to the image. And we'll just bring up the brightness of the image. And we'll cooler the image down just like that. And then add in some sharpening, and we're left with an image like that. This is the final episode of Global Fusion Arts, and I will see you in the next video.